Robert Cushman. Welcome to the Senate Oversight Committee, sir. You have 3 minutes.
All right. My name is Braden Giacobazzi. This testimony is based on my sworn affidavit that I submitted. I am an unaffiliated Michigan voter who was trained by the GOP to be a poll challenger on Wednesday, November 4th, beginning in the late morning until around 8 p.m. because I was told that they needed help. They were understaffed. I witnessed the room erupt in thunderous applause and derogatory cheering as Republican poll workers were picked off one by one and ejected from the room repeatedly by police escort throughout the day. By the end of the day, they had picked off so many GOP poll workers that there were probably only a few dozen left to monitor all of the processing stations in the room, which I'm told was between 130 and 160. Because of this, I had to move between several tables. One was processing a stack of roughly 35 ballots with pink challenge stickers on them. Many other tables also had similar stacks on them as well. None of the ballots appeared to be in the poll database, so the poll workers were simply entering 1/1/1900 as the birth dates and entering the addresses and names that no one seemed to be verifying and which I could not see to verify. When I would politely try to check such things, as had been the case throughout the entire day, I was told that I wasn't allowed within 6 feet of the tables even to verify ballots, and told that I was trying to kill people. I watched as the table simply passed in mismatched ballots and envelopes through the checking station. When I challenged it, and subsequent ballots that weren't in the poll book, the table supervisor laughed and said, "You can't do that." And several other operatives gave me the COVID runaround as I had gotten throughout the day, all trying to intimidate me and prevent me from doing my job, claiming that I was endangering their workers, trying to kill their people, and even holding a pen in a threatening way. Yet, when non-GOP operatives would stand near the tables and harass me, no one would give them any problem at all. At one point, a Democrat who was hanging back came up to harass me, and then a table supervisor showed up and because I was challenging a ballot. Once several table managers and non-GOP operatives have showed up to harass me, this Democrat operative simply melted back into the background with a satisfied grin on his face, knowing that he had caused me a problem. These people were like professional agitators whose job it was to sow discord among GOP workers who were trying to do their job and then get them kicked out. At some point, a GOP lawyer was brought in and confirmed that I was properly performing my duties. Instead of backing down, the table supervisor's supervisor and his supervisor and all the damn supervisors, they came up and they started arguing with the lawyer, telling him he didn't know what the law was.
1 minute.
In the meantime, the ballots continued to go through, so I stepped up to the table to inspect the next ballot briefly. The manager separated me from the table, wielding COVID as a weapon one more time, and walking towards me, forcing me to step further away. He made some innuendo about playing with him that made me uncomfortable, and then he said something to the effect of, "I will kick your ass or I will kick you out of here." And I said, and I looked at him and I quizzically, and I said, "Are you threatening me?" He repeated the mantra more than once as he began to wave down a police officer. I raised my voice so that others could hear what was going on, and at this point, and I said, "Are you threatening me?" And at this point, the police officer arrived, and I did not ask any questions, and I was removed from the room without any due process. Realizing I had no recourse or rights, I grabbed my coat, and I peacefully was escorted. I'd like to say one final thing.
Please wrap it up.
Okay. I saw several dozen military ballots throughout the day. I only saw 3 that were for President Trump. And I was also at your hearing the other day when the clerks were testifying. And one thing that stood out to me as a glaringly obvious thing, as an engineer, I'm a technical person. I love math. I have a fair bit of programming under my belt. Those people were not IT specialists. They know nothing. I assume they appeared to know nothing about programming, and yet they said multiple times throughout that hearing that it was the most secure election in history, and I would like to say that it seems like they have no credentials to be able to say that.
Thank you.
That's all I'd like to say.
Anyone have any questions? Senator McDonald.
Yeah, it's kind of a question for the group. I've been hearing a lot of troubling stories about harassment. So sick, I don't even want to say them. You're saying people call you a murderer, they're going to kick your ass, all these things. It sounds like there's a lot of experience in this room, poll watching. Have any of you ever experienced anything to that level, ever before, any other election process?
So,
never? Is this, it seems unprecedented, the type of stories that you're sharing, so.
this was my first election. I didn't come there to agitate. I think I'm a likable guy. I came in there on Wednesday because I was told they were understaffed, so I thought this would be a good chance to just see how the process works. If I would have thought that it was going to be that much of a madhouse against the GOP people, and it was so biased. I would have been there every day. I was not there with an agenda. I was there to just do my job, and they didn't like that simply because I had a GOP lanyard on, even though I'm an unaffiliated voter. They didn't know that.
Sounds like from the stories you're sharing, it was a complete sideshow.
Like
Hopefully
I
that
said-
doesn't continue.
Professional agitator. That's the word that I would use to describe these people. They would melt back into the background as soon as they knew that they had accomplished their job of getting you agitated or kicked out.
Thank you.
They knew what they were doing.
Thank you, Senator McDonald.